we should raise the issue how we can take care about Ukrainian combatants to allow them to stay motivated. Not all the families, they remain together. Many families split in result of that process. Mental fatigue impacts on your body, your psychiatric perception would be switched off.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euro-Atlantic Course. And I'm your host, Miroslava Yaremkiev. Combat stress or war fatigue is a normal response of the soldier's body to the mental and emotional stress resulting from the significant number of dangerous experiences associated with military trauma. War exhausts everyone: soldiers, officers, volunteers, civilians, evacuees. Debilitating fatigue builds up and leads to mistakes and eventually losses. Tireless people do not exist. Everything wears out, even metal. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the importance of a comprehensive approach to supporting military personnel, especially in conditions of a protracted war, and how ensuring psychological health and motivation is a key factor in achieving victory and maintaining peace. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. There is an irrefutable law of war well known to military psychologists and commanders, the law of 45 days. This is the time when a soldier on the line of fire acts as stable as possible or is simply normally active. After that, rest is needed, or at least just a breather, at least for a week. There is a human body, there is a psyche, and there is a line that cannot be crossed. And yes, the defenders of Azovstal proved to the whole world that a person can break any stereotypes and withstand cosmic stress loads even when mortal danger is daily. But this is an exception. The fact that even engineers respect the term metal fatigue, and we're talking about people. Head of the NGO Therapy of Win, Oleksandr Kolesnichenko, will talk more about caring for the mental health of Ukrainian combatants.
We all understand that decision what psychological assistance could be provided to Ukrainian services could not be taken immediately, and of course we today try to do what we try to do what we had to do a year ago. Actually, we would not be able to build up sufficient numbers of rehabilitation centers. It seems to me that almost 1 million people are now involved into the Ukrainian defense forces, and I cannot imagine how all that huge amount of people could be offered sufficient number of rehabilitation services. This suggests that the issue that you suggested to raise today about the definite and limited period for service is very important, and because when we discuss, we can say to people, we will serve at the contact line for this or that period, then we will be rotated, and we will be given sufficient period of time for rehabilitation, and then we will go back to our units. And my communication with the Ukrainian servicemen shows that those combatants, those servicemen who undergo treatment in the hospitals after injury or wounds, they even staying in the hospital, they are dreaming to go back to their comrades, to their fellows at the contact line, to go back to their military units. And this shows that this becomes even additional motivation. This is for the first time when we look at such a war in Europe with one of the most powerful armies in the world, with huge human resources, with almost endless military equipment and stock of airplanes, tanks, armored vehicles and artillery, etc. In these conditions, we have to take care about Ukrainian servicemen. We should raise the issue how we can take care about Ukrainian combatants to allow them to stay motivated, to prevent a situation when motivation at some moment when your motivation drops almost to zero, it shrinks almost to zero because of stress, because of negative situation at the front line, because of all that shocks to which you become exposed at the contact line.
You can detect combat stress in combatants based on physical, behavioral, and emotional manifestations. Among the leading symptoms are irritability and outbursts of anger, excessive fear and anxiety, headaches and fatigue, depression and apathy, loss of appetite, sleep problems, and changes in behavior. Family and family relationships in this case serve as a kind of a buffer. After all, discussing one's experiences related to combat stress instead of resorting to destructive behavioral strategies like social isolation, abuse of alcohol, or other psychoactive substances makes it possible to normalize the mental state. Andriy Zholob, orthopedist-traumatologist and head of the Lviv Center for providing services for combatants, will share his observations regarding psychological and physical state of Ukrainian servicemen.
I'm a veteran of the 46 Air Mobile Brigade. I commanded of medical and evacuation company. I all the time stayed with my personnel, and I was able to follow very closely my people and observe how that protracted stress impacted them. The work of combat medical servicemen is very emotional because you deal with injured people, with pieces of human being, and you continuously work with the parts of human bodies, and you have your own family problems, not all the families, they remain remain together. Many families split in result of that process. Almost every day, I experience a situation. Andriy, can we discuss something? And I had to speak to people tete-a-tete and discuss personal problems which people had in their family life, and I had to allow those servicemen who needed to go to their families for a couple of days. And I can say that understanding for soldiers, understanding that you are here and you would stay here up to your retirement period for indefinitely long period of time, that is a dangerous feeling.
Under the influence of factors that cause combat stress and in the presence of various favorable conditions for the development of stress, the parts of the victim's brain that are responsible for conscious thinking can become overloaded and turn off. Then the brain begins to be controlled only by the areas responsible for instincts and emotions. Under their control, logical thinking does not work. Psychologist and active military serviceman Andriy Kozinchuk will talk more about it.
Yesterday, we lost a very expensive Mavic drone because of that physical disorientation, because people were on duty for 33 hours, and they simply lost orientation on site. And how does the mental fatigue impacts on your body? Your psychiatric perception would be switched off when you are tired, because this is the property of human body, and you will, as a human being, you will try to save energy, and instead of running ahead and shooting, you will try to hide in a trench, to fall asleep, to save energy. And we try to raise awareness about that. We work with the lower commanders and try to raise morals, but raising morals means when soldiers understand their mission, when soldiers understand what they have to do, but not to express overall patriotism. And they should be very rational. They should not be emotional. They should be very rational. They should be very professional to assess the situation around them and to act effectively corresponding to the situation.
You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!